intro. So welcome everyone. I'm going to get started here and try to be cognizant of your time here too. So welcome to UW-Platteville. We are one of 13 schools that make up the public university system in Wisconsin. You might be wondering why there's a really large M on that hillside on that picture. That is because we started out as a mining school. If you've ever been to southwestern Wisconsin or northwestern Illinois, you'll notice the geology there is a little different from southeastern and northeastern areas. Lots of big rocky cliffs, so it was a great place for mining. At some point in the early 1900s, we decided to pay tribute to that mining history, and some engineering students used up about 400 tons of whitewashed rock, and they made this big M on a hillside. Every year at homecoming, they light it up, they do fireworks from the top. It's a great experience. I always recommend that people, when you come on campus for a visit, which hopefully you'll be able to do next year or this fall, you can kind of see on the right-hand side those stairs that go along the side of the M there. It's only 266 stairs to the top. I highly recommend it. When you visit, though, from the top of that hill, you can actually see all three states, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa. So it's a really pretty view of the countryside as well. So the town of Platteville is about 11,000 people. We are, I would say, a bigger small town. We're large enough to have a nice little main street, shops, restaurants, movie theaters. The nice thing too is that we have a great bus system, a little charter bus that can take you around town. So a lot of people find that, especially their first year on campus, it's a nice way to save money by not having to bring a car to campus, not having to pay those extra fees for parking and insurance and things like that. It is a beautiful part of Wisconsin. If you are into the outdoors or anything like that, very, very beautiful area. So at Platteville, we have more than 41 majors, more than 76 minors. At the heart, we are a liberal arts school. So that means that you have a lot of different options to choose from as far as areas of study. We're going to go over some of our top programs today in just a minute here. We're small, 20 and 25 students per class, and very much an applied approach. So students really do get that real world hands-on experience no matter what they're studying. We really want you to be well prepared for that first job after college. So agriculture, one of our big programs at Platteville, about 6 miles from our main campus, we have a 400-acre producing farm. That means the milk and everything that's produced our farm will eventually end up in a grocery store somewhere in the form of milk, cheese, yogurt, a lot of different things. We have cattle, dairy cows, and swine on our farm. Very hands-on. About 95% of the labor on our farm is done by the students themselves. This program does include our animal science degree, which includes our pre-vet program too. Biology is another big program for us. So anyone interested in going into a biological field, this is a great place to get started. Lots of opportunities for undergraduate research, getting that hands-on experience. All of those areas listed there are what we call areas of emphasis. So a lot of different things to choose from. Most students who want to go into a pre-health or a pre-medical field, this is a great place to start out. Our job as an undergraduate institution is to give you that solid background in biology and usually chemistry. We do have biohealth and physiology, and then molecular and genetics emphases. So those are usually the ones that pre-med or pre-health students will go into. And we do have a lot of other areas, as you can see. Business, another big program for us. We're excited because this fall we are going to be moving toward BBAs, or Bachelor of Business Administration degrees. We used to have areas of emphasis, but what we were finding is that the last few years, employers are looking more and more for students to have that BBA degree, and you'll still be able to get those in 6 different areas within business. So a lot of the ones that are listed here as areas of emphasis are actually going to be BBA degrees starting in the fall. Some great experiences there too. A lot of our business students participate in our study abroad program, where they can go to Germany, Spain, the UK, take business courses there. We have a great study abroad program. We work with more than 50 different countries right now, and not just in business, they're across the different areas of study. Criminal justice, this is our 2nd largest program at Platteville. We have a couple different areas of emphasis within criminal justice corrections. So if you're interested in working in the prison system or something like that, that would be the track for you. Or law enforcement, that includes local, state, and federal law enforcement tracks. We are one of only 2 schools in the Midwest that offer a Bachelor of Science in Forensic Investigation as well. And this is where you can choose from a crime scene track. So if you have those analytical skills and want to get in there and do that part of the job, that would be the track for you. And then we do have a laboratory track as well. So if you're more of a behind the scenes, you want to analyze substances and things like that, that would be a better track for you. We do have a criminalistics focus within our chemistry department as well. So some students will do a and forensics laboratory to increase their job opportunities. The picture there is from our crime scene house. We have a crime scene house located next to our farm. So sometimes an animal will die on the farm. They'll bury it outside the crime scene house. They'll study decomposition. They'll set up mock crime scenes like the one here using that grid pattern. So again, very hands-on. Inside the house, it may look like a regular house from the outside, but inside they're also setting up mock crime scenes. They're doing fingerprinting, they're doing photography, all kinds of things related to forensics. Education, another big program at Platteville. We were actually the first teacher education program in the state of Wisconsin, and that continues to be a big one for us. Students have an option to add a special education inclusion minor or teaching English as a second language. I think part of what sets us apart is that students have an opportunity to do their student teaching abroad. So if you want to do your student teaching in Spain, we can help you make that happen. You are not limited to doing your student teaching at Platteville. So if you want to go back to your hometown or a different area, if you want to teach in a rural or urban or somewhere in between area, we can help you with that too. Engineering, by far our largest program at Platteville. Out of our 8,000 students, about half of them are engineering majors. We have 7 different areas of emphasis within engineering. The newest change for engineering is that we added a biomedical emphasis within our mechanical engineering degree. So mechanical engineering is probably one of the more versatile areas of engineering. If you want to specialize in biomedical and you already know that, maybe prepare for a graduate program or something like that, that's an option now as well. Our engineering students have a lot of hands-on experience at Platteville. They really jump in right away with their freshman year. We have some great clubs and organizations, so you're getting experience outside of the classroom. You can see that picture there. Those are dune buggies. We actually have 5 different SAE clubs, or Automotive Society of Automotive Engineering clubs. We have Engineers Without Borders. They go to Ghana, Africa every year. We have a lot of engineering related programs, so some great ways to get involved. And then finally, our another top program is our industrial tech management. And this includes our building construction and our manufacturing technology. So if you like working with your hands, working with components, this might be an option for you. A lot of students who start out in engineering, sometimes they find that they're not so into the math and calculus part of engineering, so they start looking at some of these programs, and there are some great opportunities. I mentioned the hands-on experience. We have a commercial construction lab only about a mile from our campus, so students go there and get real world experience on our equipment, using safety equipment and things like that as well. And they're actually constructing a structure and taking it apart each year. So we know that you're coming to college not just to study a subject, but also to meet people and try new things. We really want to encourage you to do that. People make some lifelong friends in college, and we want to give you lots of ways to do that. We have more than 300 clubs and organizations at Platteville right now. One of our newest ones is an amateur cooking club. We have a squirrel watching club if you're into that. Lots of different ways to get involved. Our academic areas, all of our academic areas have at least one academic club. So no matter what you're studying, you'll always have that. Because we are in the area of Wisconsin that we do have a lot of outdoor enthusiasts, so a lot of our clubs kind of center around that too. But we pretty much have something for everyone there. And it is easy to start your own club as well. So all you need is a few friends with a shared interest, find a faculty advisor for your club, and you can start the steps to start your own club at Platt. So I mentioned the size of Platteville. It's only about 11,000 people. For some of you, that might be a bigger town than what you're in now. For a lot of you, that's going to be much smaller. You're used to having a lot of things going on around you. But I can tell you, we do a great job planning events for our students. All of our residence halls have events that they plan throughout the year. We have concerts, comedians, we have dollar movie nights. We have a great theater program, so we put on between 6 and 8 productions a year. Some of them are plays, some are musicals. We have holiday concerts, so lots of great ways to stay busy and stay active. We are not what you would call a commuter campus. In other words, on the weekends, most students stick around Platteville. So even on the weekends, there is a lot going on, a lot of people to get together with and hang out with. So for any athletes out there, we are Division III for athletics. These are the 7 sports for guys that we have, and these are the 7 sports for girls that we have. The first step, if you want to play sports at Platteville, is always to fill out an athletic recruit questionnaire, which you can find under athletics on our website. So that's always the first step. That's where you can upload your statistics so that a coach or assistant coach can review them and decide if they want to reach out to you. Even if you don't want to play varsity sports, but you like participating in activities, we do have a lot of great club sports. We have tennis and swim and golf. We have rugby clubs for guys and girls at Platteville. And then we do have intramurals as well, so things like badminton. So lots of ways to stay active and stay busy on campus. Anyone interested in music, you have a lot of options to continue your passion for music at Platteville. I like to say we have a small but mighty program. The good news is that you don't have to be a music major to participate in our music program. In fact, most of the people who participate in our music programs are not music majors. So lots of great ways to get involved in that. And someone did ask about resources for Native American students. We do have a great we do have a great Office of Multicultural Student Affairs. And they plan a lot of activities throughout the year. It's a great way to get to know people. They have their own advisors, so you would have a faculty academic advisor, but then you'd also have an OMSA advisor who could just kind of help you out with, you know, finding things on campus, getting connected, and things like that. So that's a great question. Thank you to whoever asked that one. Let's see. So I know most of you are concerned about what residence halls are like. So I like to spend a little time going over that. I'm kind of a visual person, so I include the floor plans too, so you can kind of get an idea of how things are laid out. So we have 13 different residence halls. 12 of those 13 are open to all students, including freshmen. There's only one that's limited to upperclassmen. So you have quite a few to choose from. When you are accepted to Platteville and you fill out your residence life application, you're actually able to pick your top 3 residence halls. And most students are able to get into one of those top 3. So it's kind of a nice system. They do a really good job assigning roommates and things like that. You fill out a questionnaire they ask you questions like, are you a night owl? What are your eating habits like? Are you, more clean or more messy with your living? So they do a good job matching people up. It's very rare that a student would need to switch roommates, but you do have that option. There are steps that you have to go through if you and your roommate really do not get along, but that doesn't usually happen. So about half of our residence halls are what we would call traditional, just like what you would see on TV or in the movies. It's you and a roommate. You have 2 beds, 2 desks, 2 dressers in your room. And then somewhere on your floor or on your wing, you'll have a shared kitchen and a shared bathroom. All of our residence halls are co-ed, so there are men and women in all 13 of our residence halls. The second type of hall we have is a semi-suite, and this is more like what you would call a quad. It's you and 3 other people. You're still sharing a bedroom with 1 other person, but now you only have to share a bathroom with 3 other people, which is kind of nice. And then again, somewhere on your wing or your floor, you'll have a shared kitchen area. And then finally, we have suite style residence halls. These really are more like apartments. Your living room and kitchen are within your living space. They are really, really cool. The difference in price between a traditional and a suite style is about $1,600, I believe. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about residence halls. The apartment style ones are going to be a little more expensive. So I like to mention our 2 branch campuses. In 2018, all 13 of our 2-year campuses were absorbed by a 4-year campus. So UW-Platteville inherited 2 beautiful campuses, one in Baraboo, Sauk County. If you've ever been to Wisconsin Dells or Devil's Lake State Park, it's probably one of the prettiest parts of Wisconsin, I think. Baraboo is a great campus. This is nice if you're wanting to kind of ease into the college experience. It's a smaller campus. I mentioned the main campus has about 8,000 students. Baraboo has fewer than 500 students. They do still have clubs and athletics and things like that on campus. The cost might be a little bit lower depending on where your residency is, but we do have residence halls at our Baraboo campus as well. And they actually have pretty updated science labs too at the Baraboo campus. They're very, very nice. So if you wanted to start out, get your associate's degree at a 2-year campus, they make it very straightforward for you to transfer into a 4-year after that. Our second branch campus that we absorbed is our campus in Richland, which is just west of Madison. Even a little bit smaller than Baraboo. It is fewer than 300 students. They also have residence halls on site. They have athletics and clubs as well. So just so you know, those are a couple more options for you, all part of the Platteville family. So one thing we pride ourselves on at Platteville is being one of the more affordable schools in UW system. Right now, tuition, room, and board is just over $15,000 a year for Wisconsin residents. And then less than $20,000 a year for our friends in Illinois and Iowa. So fairly comparable to your Illinois and Iowa state schools. This is the 4th year in a row that we've been ranked #1 in return on investment in Wisconsin. So we're really proud of that. We want students to be able to attend school, not pay an arm and a leg, and be able to get a job in your field when you're done, most importantly, so you can minimize that student debt, hopefully. I like to mention that we do have programs for associate, bachelor's, and master's degrees that are completely online as well. So those are the associate and bachelor degrees that we offer. They are 100% online. So admission requirements. We are usually looking for the 17 college prep credits or units that are on the right-hand side of your screen there. Most students, by the time they complete their senior year, will have met all of these requirements, but you can certainly contact us if there's a class you're not sure about. A lot of students ask about foreign language, so I usually address that one right off the bat. We don't require foreign language for you to be admitted into Platteville, but we do require foreign language by the time you graduate with your bachelor's degree. So a lot of students, if you've taken foreign language in middle school, high school, depending on the level of proficiency that you've reached, you can usually take the optional foreign language placement exam and test out of that foreign language requirement. I continued with foreign language into college, so I ended up double majoring in it. It really helped me get a lot of jobs over the years, so I always encourage you, if you have a love of language, to continue that into college. It just helps with your job prospects. So we're usually looking for top 50% of your graduating class. 22 ACT, 1110 SAT. Those are not hard and fast rules. We look at a lot of other things. Everyone receives what we call a comprehensive review. So we actually read your personal essay that you write for admission. We look at the rigor of your courses, especially junior and senior year. We look at your academic progression from freshman year on. So a lot of other things go into that decision making. So the last thing that I'm going to mention right offhand is our virtual visit program. So our admission advisors are alternating doing our info sessions this spring. Next week is actually our last week for our spring info sessions, but then we'll have just a 2-week break. June 1st, our summer visit program will start, and it'll be much the same until our restrictions are lifted, of course, and then hopefully we can welcome you back on campus in person. But we do daily info sessions Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then Tuesday and Thursday evenings, we also have an evening info session. The nice thing about the info sessions, even for those of you who came and attended this one today, as I said, different advisors do the info sessions each day, so they're all a little bit different. We have current UW Platteville students at our info sessions as well, so you get their perspective too, which is really nice. And the other benefit of scheduling a virtual info session is that immediately after the info session, you're able to do a separate meeting with a specific department. So if you wanted to meet with someone in engineering or biology, you can do that, which is really nice. Ask more specific questions. Someone had asked on the chat if you're required to take both the ACT and SAT. No, we just need one or the other. And we do not have a preference. It does not matter. So if you have taken both, you can just choose the one that you did better on, or if they were the same, it really doesn't matter to us. We just need one or the other. We are also doing one-on-one appointments. So for instance, if you're in my territory and want to schedule a one-on-one visit, I have the book me link on the bottom there. We can either do a Zoom meeting like this, if you want to see each other face to face, or we can do a phone call. And you can ask specific questions. You can ask things that maybe you didn't want to ask on chat today. So you can always call our admissions department, and they can assign you to the appropriate advisor depending on where you live. So that concludes my presentation, but I'm going to be on here for 15 more minutes, so you guys can ask whatever questions you want. I do have the chat open, so if there are any things that you wanted me to elaborate on, or any things that you're just kind of wondering, you can definitely text those questions to me now. We do have 8 different dining locations at Platteville. They're kind of spread out all over campus. There's quite a variety of food. One of my favorite places is our All You Care to Eat buffet. So every day they have a fresh salad bar. Every day they have stir fry items, and then other things change. So you can, sometimes they do like a build your own mac and cheese. Sometimes they have pizza or bratwurst. So that's always changing. So someone asked about the veterinary program a little bit more. So a couple things about our pre-vet program. It depends if you want to work with smaller animals or larger animals, but we have you covered either way. So students who want to work with primarily small animals in their veterinary program will usually get a biology degree. We do have an animal house that's part of our biology program where students have access to smaller animals. We have, lizards and all kinds of creatures in that animal house. And they're actually revising or renovating rather our hall where our biology classes are housed. So they're going to be redoing our anatomy and physiology lab with our cadaver lab. They're going to be updating the animal house and things like that. It's going to be a great space for anyone in biology or chemistry or any of the sciences. If you want to work with larger animals, most students will go the animal science and the pre-vet route. As I mentioned, we do have cows and swine on our farm, but you would have occasional access to other animals too, like goats and things like that. But it's a great hands-on program. Our job, again, as an undergraduate institution, is to prepare you for grad school. Our job would be to make you a strong candidate for whatever vet program you wanted to attend. And someone asked if students are required to live on campus. Yes, so students are required to live on campus their freshman and sophomore year. I will tell you that about 2/3 of our students live on campus. A lot of times they find that it's less expensive, it's convenient. A lot of research has been done on students who live on campus, especially the first couple years. They tend to do better academically. They tend to form more relationships with peers and things like that. So a few reasons that we have that requirement. And someone asked about transferring to UW-Madison. So the change that I mentioned earlier about the 13 two-year campuses being absorbed, one of the reasons they did that, well, one was an economical reason. And then the second was to make it even more streamlined. So once you're in any of the 13 UW schools, they really have made it very straightforward for you to transfer to another one. So for instance, if you were at Platteville and wanted to get into Madison, you'd have to check their admission requirements. But if you were starting out, say if you were starting out at Madison and coming to Platteville, our admission requirements for transfer students are just that you have to be in good standing with a 2.0 GPA, and you have to have taken at least 12 credits, which is usually a semester's worth of credits in college. So hopefully I answered that question appropriately, but again, Madison does have slightly different admission requirements, so you would have to check at what we would call the receiving institution to find out what their requirements would be, to see how easy that would be or how difficult that would be. Good question so far. I know this must be strange having to do all of this virtually, so I'm glad you guys are here today and asking these questions. As I said, we're very anxious to see you in person again and see you on campus, so we're hoping that'll be sometime soon. Someone did ask about FAFSA. So a couple things about FAFSA. It is a free application for federal student aid. That's what FAFSA stands for. This is all through the federal government. So when you fill out a FAFSA, and I believe in Illinois, you're going to be required to fill one out starting this year. When you fill out a FAFSA, you include information about your parent or guardian's income, and it's based strictly on their tax return. So you need that information when you fill it out. And what you find out from filling out the FAFSA, they let you know if you are eligible for work study. They let you know if you're eligible for any student loans. And they tell you if you're eligible for any grants, which is money that does not have to be paid back. So you want to try to get as many grants and scholarships as you can. But again, the grants, that's something that the federal government determines. They have a pot of money that they can give out. So that's a good reason to fill out your FAFSA earlier rather than later, so that you can maximize the amount of money that you would get. A couple things that we're doing at Platteville, we are going to be doing some FAFSA workshops this summer. So you can just contact me or contact our admissions office about those. There is some great information out there about FAFSA. The FAFSA government website is actually really helpful. They have some great frequently asked questions, some videos, things like that. So they make it pretty straightforward too. If you are in Wisconsin, they have workshops throughout the state too. I'm not sure if Illinois has the same thing or not, but your counselor might have a little more information about that too. And someone asked about scholarships for out-of-state students. Yeah, our scholarships are open to anyone unless they specify that they're for a specific county or something like that. We do have what we call community scholarships too that are for specific counties or areas, but most of our new freshman scholarships, transfer scholarships are open to anyone regardless of what state they live in. And they had asked if I could go back to the education slide. So I'm going to go back to that really quick. And if you have a couple specific questions about the education slide or the education program, just let me know. They also have a lot of great study abroad programs. They have a summer study abroad program with education. They actually stay in a castle in the UK. It's very, very cool. You could go online to see that. But they have a lot of different opportunities to study abroad with the School of Education as well. They do work with you right from the start on your licensure. We have someone who, that's all they do is handle your licensure. So they work with you right from the start. You will end up with a Wisconsin teaching license. But if you are in Wisconsin or Illinois or Iowa or any other state, they'll work with you from the start if you know you want to go back to your home state to teach. So they'll work with you from the start to make sure that you get that dual licensure or complete the steps that you need to do that. Great questions, you guys. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about the FAFSA is that you fill that out every year. So students who completed the FAFSA opens up on October 1st every year. So this year was a little different for our seniors. So students who filled it out in the fall, they might have had changes, their parents might have had changes to their income in the last couple months due to COVID. So they can actually go back into their FAFSA and adjust information. So that's the nice thing too. You can make changes to your FAFSA in those cases if there's been a change of custody or anything like that. If you lived with your, one parent at the beginning of the year and it's a different parent now, you can adjust that information too. But their website is very, very helpful for answering some of those questions too. Any other questions, you guys? You still have me for about 5 more minutes. So ask away if there's something that you wanted a little more information on that maybe I didn't hit. I try to give you lots of information, but I know it's a little overwhelming. You don't always know what questions to ask either. So someone asked about student teaching being limited to students in the School of Education. Yes, for the student teaching. Now, we do have a lot of study abroad programs that would be opened up to other students. But for the student teaching, actually, that's something that is only arranged through the School of Education. So for students who are trying to complete those final steps before they can become an actual licensed educator, that one would just be for teachers going through the student teaching program. That's a good question. If I didn't quite answer that or you still have questions, just let me know. But yeah, some of the other study abroad programs they have, we have a group that goes to Fiji every year. A lot of opportunities in the UK and Europe, Asia, South America. We do have some in Africa as well. I mentioned one of them for sure, our Engineers Without Borders, but we do have other programs too. Some of them are week-long or 2-week-long programs. Some of them are semester-long. Some happen during the winter break or summer break. So there's a lot of different options. And we do have scholarships just for our study abroad programs too. So if you need help financing those, most students who know they want to study abroad at some point will start talking to their academic advisor right away freshman year, because there are a lot of things that you have to do to prepare for study abroad, vaccinations and paperwork and things like that, passports. So they want to know sooner rather than later if you're interested in that, just to make that a smooth process. So it's a good idea. If you already know you want to do it, start talking to somebody early. So we talked a little bit about the food options. So I forgot to mention at the All You Care to Eat cafeteria, it's kind of like a cafeteria. It's a big, big area. They have a lot of different options, things that change on the menu every day. One thing I forgot to mention was that if you are gluten-free or you have different allergies, we have a full-time nutritionist at Platteville. They are really good about labeling all of the food stations, so you know exactly what you're getting, if it's safe for you to eat. And then you can always talk to our nutritionist too if you have a really restricted diet or severe allergies or something like that. They can help you come up with a food plan too. We have the Pioneer House, spelled H-A-U-S, like the German house. They have like burgers and pizza and things like that. We have Greenwood Cafe. It's going to be more like your sandwiches to go and stuff like that. We do have our, in our student center, we have another food area where their food items change very regularly. So, and someone asked about the new major in engineering. So it's not a new major, it's a new emphasis. And it is biomedical. It's a new emphasis that's part of our mechanical engineering degree. So it'll be, you can now major in mechanical engineering with an emphasis in biomedical. That's become an increasingly popular area of study and really, really important for the engineering field. So we're trying to make sure we're giving students what they needed to be successful in their fields. Well, I appreciate all of you coming today, and thank you for the great questions. I know there's always a few things that don't get answered in the info session, so thank you. I'm sure the other participants appreciate you asking some of those questions too. But stay safe this spring and summer, and we hope to see you on campus soon.